Bmw M5 has always been utterly formidable, and the current version is no exception. Huge power, torque and grip make for savage performance, but it's still an executive car with all the comfort features and space that entails. The ride may be a touch firm for some, and the multitude of electronic systems takes some getting used to, but overall it's still one of the fastest ways of getting 5 people and their luggage from A to B, with preferably a stop off at the Nürburgring on the way.
BMW invented the executive super saloon with their M5, and although Audi's RS6 and AMG versions of the Mercedes E-Class have offered stiff competition in recent years, for many this remains the definitive motorsport-bred business blaster. In many ways this car is all about fives. The 2005 model year onwards BMW M5 features an engine that has 2 banks of 5 cylinders that together produce over 500 brake horsepower and more than 500 Newton meters of torque. Rest to 60 takes comfortably under 5 seconds on the way to an artificially limited top speed of 155 miles an hour, and without the rev limiter it would comfortably top 205 miles an hour. That's enough 5s for now. How are you with 8s? Redlined at 8,250 RPM, this amazing piece of German engineering will pump this super saloon round Germany's Nordschleife circuit at the Nürburgring in 8 minutes. Now that's a time more comfortably associated with the cream of the supercar crop. In fact, pick almost any number and the M5 punches it out. A 7-speed gearbox is fitted with 11 different change patterns. The V10 engine manages over 100 brake horsepower per litre. That's over 25% more than its predecessor. However you like your jaw-dropping statistics, the M5 delivers them, whether as a saloon or as a touring estate. Power is transmitted to the rear wheels of the BMW M5 via a 7-speed sequential gearbox featuring 11 different change modes. 6 of these are dedicated to the speed and characteristics, the way that you can alter them, of the manual gearbox mode, while the other 5 govern the rules of the automatic mode. Now, the 6th pattern in manual mode is dedicated to the launch control function, you know, the kind of thing that Formula 1 drivers used to use to get themselves off the grid. And that gives the likes of you and I the opportunity to replicate BMW test drivers 0 to 60 times, assuming you're not too worried about burning rubber. The most important function on this car, though, is concealed behind this unassuming little M drive button here on the steering wheel. Pressing it transports you into a new and very powerful world, upping the power on offer from 400 to over 500 brake horsepower. It's also a one-stop, one-press function that alters the characteristics of the car to a predetermined, more sporting setting. Using the iDrive control knob, you can alter the preferred SMG gearbox setting, alter the electronic damper control, even alter the DSC stability mode. And if your car is equipped with active seat control, you can even alter the side bolsters in the way that they grip you through the corner. So you can roll up at your favourite bend with your BMW M5 on its comfort setting, press this M drive button and completely transform your car instantly into something more focused. Like all the best ideas, it makes you wonder why no one thought of it before. A revised DSC stability control system has been developed specifically for the M5, and the default setting offers the full net of safety features. There's also an M dynamic setting which gives the enthusiast driver a little bit more latitude, allowing for a bit of side slip and opposite lockery. Whereas for the determined tyre fryer and genuine hooligan, you can turn the system off completely. Though if you're confident enough to fling nearly £70,000 worth of Munich's finest sideways at the scenery without any kind of safety net, then I take my hat off to you. It's unlikely that you'll mistake the M5 for one of its humbler BMW 5 Series brethren. Subtly modified front and rear aprons and side stills give it a subtly aggressive presence. And subtle is also a word that you could use for these nice air intakes that are punctuating the front wings. The big giveaway though are these monster 19-inch alloy wheels. that sit just inside these carefully flared wheel arches, while at the back 4 big tailpipes give less fortunate motorists a clue as to exactly what's just blown them into the weeds. Measuring 4.48 metres in length, this M5 touring model features a carrying capacity of 535 litres. It also has a split folding rear seat arrangement which folds down to open up 1,650 litres. Now, owners can opt for the fully automatic tailgate system, which at the same time retracts the rear parcel shelf. I think that's very neat. You've also got a lockable floor storage compartment here that sits just in front of a 35 litre area, concealing the spare wheel and tyre. One of my favourite things about this car is the heads-up display that's projected onto the lower part of the front windscreen here, so that you can keep an eye on speed and all the major functions without taking your eyes off the road. The default setting shows speed, sat-nav instructions, the major data control functions, and also cruise control data, while pressing M drive gives you a speed and a rev counter, and the vehicle data flashes at you telling you when it's time to change up. It's likely that you'll end up paying just under £70,000 for your M5, depending on the final spec that you choose and the body style, of course. Now, that's about the same as you'd pay for a comparable Mercedes E63 AMG, a far less agile competitor, but about £10,000 less than you pay for Audi's RS6, a car that attempts to justify its premium with another 70 brake horsepower and four-wheel drive. There's a choice of saloon or touring body styles, though sadly no manual gearbox option. Also non-negotiable is BMW's iDrive system, thankfully simplified these days with the addition of 8 freely programmable shortcut buttons. Still can't figure out how to change the treble and the bass on the stereo though. If you go for the M5 touring version that I've got here, you've got the option of BMW's individual high-end audio system, complete with 16 speakers and an eardrum perforating 825 watt capacity. As extreme as the BMW M5 is, it pays to look at its cost of ownership in terms of capability rather than absolutes. Yes, when you compare it to a BMW 520i, it's exorbitantly expensive. Tyres, insurance, fuel, servicing, it's all eye-wateringly costly. Or is it? If you look at it, say, compared to a Lamborghini, and here's a car that can keep a Lamborghini honest on a good road, yet here's also a car that can take a family of 5 on holiday with all their luggage, then it starts to look a bit different. And you've also got a very strong case for this car being a way of replacing 2 high-end vehicles and replacing them with one that can do the lot. In real terms, you'll need to get used to 19 miles to the gallon fuel economy and CO2 emissions of at least 344 grams per kilometre. Group 20 insurance is a given, and the 169 pence per mile showing reflects the fact that this is a car like few others. There has yet to be a BMW M5 that was anything other than brilliant, and this particular version raises the bar still further. It may lose out in terms of power and grip to Audi's RS6, but such is the BMW's handling prowess that on a dry road, the Munich Monster would really put the Ingolstadt car in its place, and a Mercedes E63 AMG would be well advised not to even try to keep up. The technology contained within the M5 can be mind-boggling, but ultimately you can just get in and drive it. Brutal pace, assured handling and huge reserves of grip make this a formidable car in anyone's book.